So tell me, what was it like when you first got to meet Scott Steiner? Because like I'm sure you heard all the stories, just like all the rest of us, and you seemed
Yeah.
to. So was it intimidating getting to know him?
Well, it's funny because I touched on this a little bit during that show actually, but I remember when I got signed. I remember me and all my friends like Marty and other guys. They were talking about who was on the roster and stuff like that. They were going like, "Oh, cool, AJ Styles and Samoa Joe and this and that." And and they were, and everyone. I remember going. A lot of the boys over here were sort of saying, "Are you nervous about Kevin Nash and Scott Steiner and stuff?" Because we'd heard all these revisionist history stories from like WCW. And then like Kevin and Scott were like the two coolest guys to me right from the beginning. Like they were never anything but really nice to me. Like they would like right from the Kevin, they're both sort of standoffish just because they don't like they're not they're only gonna talk to you if they think that you're gonna stick around and and if they're interested in you, because it's that they're just not the kind of guys, especially at that point in their careers, they weren't about to sort of go around getting to know everyone. So they just sort of keep to themselves, and then but then as it progressed, and once I got a few months in, like Sting really took a liking to me, and I think because of that, like then the rest of them started to take notice, and then I ended up at the bar with Kevin a couple of times, and after that, Kevin was just like, "This kid's one of us," kind of thing. And then after that, like Scott, he was always cool to me. We me and Doug when we were British Invasion, we worked with Booker and Scott a few times, and we were sort of intertwined with them a lot, and I think he started to realize like, okay, this kid, he's into it, like he gets it, like he's easy to work with, and he's like, he's on the level. And after that, it was like we've always been cool.
And plus, like everyone could see that you were improving often, so you were taking their advice on board. I'm sure.
Yeah, I think a lot of it was like I think what I've found is a lot of the guys who have made serious money in the business, like big time vets like that, they don't start giving you advice until they see if you're starting to get it on your own. Like if they see you improving a little bit by yourself, then they start going, "Hey, come here," like this is getting better, you need to work on this. Like they don't necessarily take, because they need to see whether or not you're gonna, whether it's going to be a waste of their time or not. And I know I certainly adopt that same philosophy when I see guys. Like there are certain guys who I see and I'll just go, "You ain't going to get it." Like that's just, it'll be wasting my time. Like, so, and sometimes I feel bad because sometimes there'll be people that'll come to me and say, "Hey, can you watch my match and like give me advice?" And it's the right thing to do. But a lot of the time they're just sort of doing it. It's like a token gesture. Do you know what I mean? It's like, they're just doing it because they know they're supposed to do it.
Yeah.
Whereas then you get certain guys who I'll see them once and I'll think like, "Oh, there's something there." And then the next time I see him, I go, "Okay." And like Pete Dunne was one of those guys. Like the first time I saw him, I sort of went, "He's sort of interesting," but it wasn't, he was still small and not really, not quite there yet. And then the next time I saw him, he bulked up a lot and he had a whole different sort of intensity about him and stuff. And I was just like, and I remember saying to Marty and a couple other guys, like, he's something, you know what I mean? Like, because I would dip in and out, because I was in the States. So it would be interesting for me because I would see guys at different transitions. Do you know what I mean?